Hello everyone, and welcome back to Monsters of the Past. As always, I'm your host, Mr. G, and today I'm here in the early Jurassic to talk about one of the earliest known pterosaurs. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dimorphodon. Dimorphodon means two-shaped tooth, and its subfamily was Dimorphodontidae. We still haven't found a family for it to belong to yet, and yet we have a subfamily. That is very weird. It was a carnivore and it lived during the early Jurassic in England and Mexico. Dimorphodon was about 4 feet long with a wingspan of around 5 feet. Dimorphodon got its name from the fact that its teeth came in two different shapes, which is a pretty rare trait in reptiles. The diet of Dimorphodon is something that has been debated for a while. For the longest time, it was presumed to be insectivorous due to its small size. However, recent analysis of its jaws shows that it most likely ate things like small mammals and lizards. When it comes to flight, it is thought that due to the short length of its wings, that Dimorphodon is a pretty poor flyer, and that much like modern game birds, it would only fly if absolutely necessary. Some other notable small pterosaurs include the reptilian seagull Rhamphorhynchus, the tiny Jurassic pterosaur Anorognathus, which is thought to have behaved like a modern-day microbat, and the tiny Triassic Italian pterosaur Pterosaurus, which is one of the oldest known pterosaurs. Dimorphodon and other small pterosaurs just go to show that not all pterosaurs were the flying behemoths that modern pop culture likes to portray them as, and that pterosaurs were a lot more varied than most people think. Now that we got that out of the way, let's look at the card. Okay, this card has a lot of problems. First of all, they gave it weird sheep-like pupils. What kind of design choice is that? Why did they come to that, and what are their sources for that? Secondly, just like the Pteranodon card, it doesn't have any pycnofibers. Maybe. I say that because this card kinda looks fuzzy at some points, but I'm not sure if that's just because of the paint job or if it's actually an attempt to give it pycnofibers. And the back of the card does mention the fact that pycnofibers are a thing, but I legitimately can't tell if the creature on this card has them or not, or if it's just blurry in some places. Problem number 3. This card claims that it was primarily a fish eater. Yeah. These cards came out in the 2000s, which was a pretty rough era for pterosaurs, since at that point, basically every pterosaur ever was considered to be a fish eater. However, as I said before, nowadays it's often thought that Dimorphodon was a hunter of small vertebrae, like mammals and reptiles. Problem number 4. The card portrays it as bipedal, even though all pterosaurs were quadrupeds. And finally, it's way too big. It claims that Dimorphodon was 8 feet long, even though it was only half that size in real life. So, because of all those errors, I give this card a 5 out of 10. Now let's look at some appearances of small pterosaurs in pop culture. Dimorphodon appeared in the 2015 film Jurassic World, where they're seen along with pteranodons causing a ruckus after their exhibit breaks. Dimorphodon also previously appeared in the Game Boy Advance game Jurassic Park 3 Park Builder, along with the other small pterosaurs Rhamphorhynchus and Anorognathus. Dimorphodon makes a cameo in Fantasia, and it appears briefly in Land Before Time. One of the sequels also features a Rhamphorhynchus named Rhynchus. Why is this series such terrible with names? The Walking with Dinosaurs series featured the small pterosaurs Rhamphorhynchus, Anorognathus, and Pterosaurus. And finally, Dimorphodon appears as a tameable animal in the video game Ark Survival Evolved. That's all for this episode of Monsters of the Past. Join me next time when I talk about Velociraptor's big brother. Bye!